Welcome to the Hound Talk podcast. We're here to talk everything hounds, specifically when it comes to big game. Mountain lions, bears, and bobcats. Along with the game we pursue, we're going to talk about the dogs we run and the families behind them. Enjoy some good conversation between houndsmen as we dive into what makes us live this life we live and how it all started. I'm your host, Dustin Clark. This podcast is sponsored by Cold Strike, a houndsman-owned business that was built by a family for families. Now let's get into it. What's going on, guys? We're back with another episode of the Hound Talk podcast today, and today I'm sitting down with Shawn from New Mexico. How you doing, Shawn?
Good. I'm good.
Good. Hey, before we get too far into it, why don't you tell everybody that's listening just a little bit about yourself?
Well, there's not much to say about myself. You know, I just hunt.
Just hunt.
Yeah. Shoot, I don't know. Man, I just getting old and just hunt.
Yeah. So, and you're in New Mexico, right?
Yeah. I'm here in New Mexico. Yeah, central New Mexico, just south Albuquerque.
Okay.
About 40, 50 miles. And there ain't much to know about me.
Just hunting. Are you hunting just for yourself? You take a few clients? What do you do that way?
I've been taking a few clients last several years and stuff, but I'm winding way down on that. I'm down to taking like a client a month just to kind of pay for expenses and stuff like that. I'm kind of tired of taking clients, pretty much. I just like to hunt, so.
Oh, I blame you. I mean, that stuff can be taxing, I mean, it's fun because, those outfitters and people that do it full time, they get to hunt a lot, but people don't realize that is like, that makes it can be harder on you almost. You're having to pass up tracks here, having to tote someone here, or babysit someone there. Whereas if you just go hunt by yourself, you get to just go hunt.
Yeah, just go hunt, work your dogs and hunt. I mean, that's what I like to do. I can
exactly.
I'd 100% rather be hunting by myself than dragging somebody behind me, but I got to every now and then to buy dog food.
No, I understand that. So how long have you been running dogs?
A long time. So fixing to be 57, and about right out of high school, I got into dogs and started messing with dogs quite a bit. What really got me hooked was I was probably about 10 years old. My dad, he used to trap, big bobcat trapper and stuff, and he used to run with a few guys with some dogs and stuff. And I was out running traps with him one day, and we're going down, driving along there, and he put a cassette tape in, and it was he recorded him and some guys out hunting and at the tree and shooting a line out of a tree and the dogs, everything, and it was on a cassette tape, and I was like I said, I was probably about 10 years old, and I heard all that, and it just set something in me, and then from then on I've always wanted to mess with it. Get in the dog deal and stuff. And so out of high school I got into some coon hunting and stuff like that, and then after a few years of doing that, I actually got hooked up with Van Hale. They're out of Arizona, and we started hunting lions in Nevada quite a bit. I hunted outside of Austin, Nevada for quite a few years with Van, and just from then on, just from about out of high school on, just kind of been into the dogs,
No, I get it. That's about when I started, was right after I graduated. So I understand that. What are you running for dogs? You kind of got your own stuff that you've had for a while, or where are you getting them?
That I had for a while. So way back in the day, I had a pretty good set of dogs and stuff, and hunted a lot and stuff. And then the kids, when they got a little bit older, I went through one divorce, and then got remarried, and kids got a little older. I kind of got out of dogs for a while, and the kids rodeoed quite a bit and stuff. So I just kind of spent a lot of time with the kids, and they all grew up and left again. Then I jumped right back into dogs and been in since. But I got a way different set of type of dog than what I had back in the day than I do now. And a lot of these dogs just go back to just some old some old school Arizona dry ground dogs and stuff like that. They're just
Okay. Yeah.
there's
So
crossed up. There's no certain breed.
yeah.
Have to
Oh yeah.
get a few Walker, get a few blue tick, get a red one, get a just
Yep.
whatever. But they're all kind of line breed, but we keep it kind of spread out. It's not real tight, but it's we got a pretty good program going with them. So
No. Good. No, I get that. None of my dogs are any specific breed. They just come from some good lines from a family that I trust. So when I
right,
get more, that's where they come from. So,
right.
so where you're at, are you getting much snow, or are you just hunting pretty well strictly dirt?
We don't get too much snow in this country. It's probably about 90% dirt hunting is what we do here. And then when we do get snow, we get a snow. It'll last 4 or 5 days sometimes, 2 or 3 days. It melts off, just turns to junk. But when there is a snow, we run around. You knock the crap out of the lions.
Yep.
It's easy. Um, it's good pup training and stuff in the snow and stuff to get them pups exposed a little bit more to some more lions and stuff. But mainly, it's mainly dirt hunting though.
Do you hunt bears as well, or just lions?
No, no. I had my fill of bears back in the day, and it'd be a cold day in hell before I knock out another greasy bear. So
Uh, I've heard that a time or two. So in New Mexico, what's the season for your lions there?
it's year round.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It runs year round. March 31st into the hunting season, and that resets all the quotas and stuff April 1st. So we got our quotas, and some areas will get shut down midwinter and stuff like that. But come April 1st, they open back up. But we can hunt year round, and it's pretty tough in the summer. It just it gets hot and gets real snaky and stuff.
Yeah.
But we still catch a few up and down the river bottom here. I hunt quite a bit in the summertime, and we'll
Mhm.
kill it up and down there. So
No, I get that. So with just hunting lions, and specifically more just hunting dirt, because this is like I've experienced, like I run bears, I run lions, I've ran in the snow, I ran in the dirt, and the dirt side is always a little more intriguing to me. So when you're breeding these dogs and stuff that you're running now, what are you kind of breeding or looking for more for your style of hunting than anything else, if that makes sense?
yeah, so a lot of these dogs are they're pretty darn cold nosed for to get for from the get go. That got a lot of real cold nose bred into these dogs, and it's just kind of a normally most of these pups when I have a litter, they're almost automatic. I mean, they want a trail. They're just trail minded, and from the get go, I mean they just want. I'm trying to think how to explain it the best. So,
Just natural. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like you see them bird dogs and stuff, them puppies and stuff. They're pointing and stuff when they're 6 weeks old and stuff. I mean, that's kind of what these dirt dogs are like. They're
mhm,
just yeah, dang, they just got their nose to the ground and they're buckling, they're whipping, they're from little puppies, and I do a few drags when they're little with lion hide and stuff like that, and kind of get them introduced to the lion scent and like that. Not a whole bunch, but a little bit, get them going,
mhm,
get that kind of on their mind, and then it's kind of like I get out there and get these pups, and I just take them with my dogs, out free casting and stuff, and they get to whipping and stuff. They get in there with them dogs. They really can't smell it. They're really not. After about a year and a half, they seem like they get a little bit colder than
yeah.
their pups. And but boy, the first time you get on a big old stinky tom and they can finally smell it, boy, they just stand on their heads and they just really get to going. And like the litter of black and whites that I have right now, their mom was a real slow starter, and they're kind of taking after their mom right now. They started out real good when they was young. That they've been to 4 lions now, and they kind of hit a brick wall. But their mom kind of did the same thing too. So I'm expecting in the next 2 or 3 months for them to really start turning back on again. But
Hmm.
a lot of guys will cold dogs right away if they're not doing that. But I kind of let them just take them and let them go, and just their mom's just a good example of it. I mean, year and a quarter, year and a half before she really started buckling and grinding hard. And
Yeah.
these pups kind of follow in her footsteps, just the way she was from a puppy on. And so I got all the confidence in the world in this litter. So
Okay. No, I get that for sure. And that's something a lot of guys don't understand is when you have hunted for quite a while and you really watch and see these dogs as they progress over the years and how the pups will follow in the same suit, that you don't just get too quick to, oh, this pup's not trailing at 9 months old, we need to kick him out.
right,
And if it was straight snow or bear, that's a different story than hunting dirt lions.
yeah, the dirt's, I mean, just 100% different. I mean, it's night and day from snow hunting. So
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, that scent's not hitting them right in the face. I mean, they're not
yeah,
able to drift it like they do a bear and run with their heads up. It's a whole different world, and I think it takes a lot of patience to let them younger dogs come into their own when it comes to the dirt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
Good. Um, so are you cutting roads? You riding? How are you hunting most of the time?
Most of the time, just horseback, just taking off recasting, hitting scrape lines and stuff where I know Doms like to travel and stuff.
Mhm.
Just hitting country and stuff, and yeah, just go and them dogs they start whipping and they strike a track and stuff. You know, a lot of that stuff's just real rocky and stuff, and a lot of times, you know, you get off and you try to make sure you're going the right direction. You got a good fresh track, it's real easy for them dogs to go on backwards. And I've gone backwards for a couple miles before I finally see a track, and then have to flip everybody around. So it's just yeah, it can be a frustrating day sometimes.
Oh, definitely. They start trailing and you can't see the track for,
Right, and they're
whether you're in on rock and hard, yellow grass and stuff like that you
Mhm.
can't see it and you get a mile away and hit a sandy wash and you realize you gone backwards.
Yeah, yeah, flip everybody and start going the other way. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
On good
So,
days, that's not too bad, but man, it gets. I mean, just even right now, just a couple days ago, I was trailing, and it was pushing 70 degrees here. I mean, then
mm,
dogs hot on me. Um, yeah, when it's real hot and you burn all that energy going backwards sometimes and stuff, it's better just to start again tomorrow and get back after them or something.
no, I understand that. I mean, you just rode for 2 hours one direction. It's going to take you that long to get
Right.
back, plus to get to the better end of the track for sure.
Yeah.
So with riding horses, I mean, I'll ask this question because I've ridden both. Do you prefer horses over mules? Have you ever done the mule thing?
Yeah, I got mules. I got a
Yeah.
mule and horses. So
Okay.
uh, mules a lot better, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and I got one little white horse. I call her Butter. She'll hold her ground just about to any mule around. So I really like her, and she's a little bitty thing too. But she's a rock pounding little son of a gun. But old Fred, that big old mule I got,
Hmm.
he's good. Yeah. I mean, them mules are they're just they won't get themselves in a jam. If they get in a jam, they don't get it scatterbrained. I mean, a
Yeah.
horse will hurt herself, and a mule, you know, they'll kind of keep their head together in a bad situation. So,
Yep. Yep. I learned that when I started riding mules. About 10 years ago, first time I rode mules going with some friends because I grew up on horses my whole life and had
yeah.
ridden them in the mountains, hunting deer and elk, but never behind dogs. And then once I started changing over and did that, I learned that there's definitely a good horse is a good horse, but a good mule is worth a lot of weight in gold when you get in
Oh,
some
yeah.
of that rough country.
100%.
So,
Dang sure is. So,
yes, sir. Um, So, like with the lions and the dirt and that, I mean, where you're just hunting for yourself, you're for the most part, you're just finding decent tracks and going. You're not selective on whether you run a lion, tom or a female for the most
yeah,
part.
when I'm hunting for myself and stuff, I'm just, yeah, if I get on a track and trail it, then I do.
Mhm.
And just did a good day of trailing, and especially with pups and stuff, you know, if when them pups start trailing, and the more you can trail, the better they're going to get, you know,
Yeah.
and the slower they'll get, the colder they'll get. I mean, it's all a working process, and so yeah, everybody likes to catch some big toms, you know, and which you know who doesn't want to, But I'll guarantee you what, a female in the dirt is a hell of a lot harder to catch than a tom in the dirt. So,
Yeah, yeah, especially when they hit that long trot and they start pulling them tricks out ahead of them dogs. And
oh yeah, yeah,
no, I
100%. So,
get
so
that for sure.
make them
So,
make them work. So,
yep. With breeding these dogs for, I mean, for dirt, especially for nose and probably a little more for feet and things, do you see
hmm
a loss in tree with some as you go on? You understand what I mean?
I've had some, yeah, that are just so trail minded that they just, for example, last year I had one, and this little dog was just, I mean, just so trail minded. If you didn't get to the tree and get her tied up, then she's 15 minutes at the tree, then she's off trailing again. She's on
Hmm.
the back track, or she's doing this or that, but she just long gone. And which having them trail minded dogs like that, they're good because you don't ever lose that track with them. They're always stuck on it. But taking as many young dogs as I take with me all the time, and then them being at a tree and taking an hour, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours to get to the tree, depending, because some of that country gets pretty freaking bad and it's hard to get to the dogs. And then you get them young pups that are getting a little bored at the tree, and you get one trailing off, and they're dragging your pups off. And so yeah, so I got rid of one last year that she just too trail minded. I mean,
Yeah.
she was a rock star. I mean,
Hmm.
she had got dang, she'd stick to one. I mean, a track that you damn sure were not going to close the gap on, you'd have to just drag her off that son of a bitch, and you get her half mile away, quarter mile away, she'll turn around and go back to it. I mean, she was something else. I mean, a hell of
Yeah.
a dog, but just a little bit too trail minded. Um, and then you get a little bit. Some of these dogs just they get so trail minded that when that track starts getting really good, they just won't get up and go. They just want to keep grinding it, and so that's where you got to have kind of some of them dogs. When they get to trailing, they got to be able to start when that track starts getting better to start moving it faster,
Yep.
and and so I got some dogs that'll just anchor in there and just stay, just trail. But when it starts getting a little bit warmed up, them other dogs get a little bit faster, and the combination works good because sometimes they'll get going too fast and they'll make a lose. The old dogs come up behind and they just get everything straightened out. But having them that'll pick up and go and having them that will just stay anchored on the track, the combination in the dirt just is really kind of what you need, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. A little more rounded out in the pack, where they're instead of just straight hard nosed trail dogs, you got some that are a little different here or there. And
Yeah, you got to have a variety in there.
some that'll pull some tree in. So like when you lose some of that tree, have you had to bring in like an outcross to try and throw some of that back in or not yet?
Not too much yet. I hadn't had real bad problems with them not treeing, but it's there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just so trail minded like that.
Yep.
Then I've had a couple that are that are too cold. I've got like
Yeah.
a little ruby dog. I mean, a lion step on a rock and it 3, 4, 5 days ago sometimes, and it's out of the weather, it's protected and stuff. I mean, she'll just stand on her head and just sit there and bawl on it. I mean, and so, but her pups, the way I like Jewel, so way she was crossed came out to be a really good cross because she's cold but she's fast. She's not as cold as her mom, but she's damn sure cold. But she can move a track real fast. She's cold and fast. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yep. Oh, I get it.
but but yeah, no, she's a and her and her brother are both the same. So they're nice dogs. So.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of just has that. She's got that cold to kind of trail whatever you need her to, but also can still pick up and move it instead of that slow track to track grind and stand on their head.
Yeah. She can drift a track on the dirt pretty well
Yeah.
when it's there. When it warms up like that enough. So.
Yep. Yep. And so how has the trailing been lately? Has it been pretty dry down there like it is everywhere else right now?
Yeah, we had a pretty good fall. We had a little bit of moisture and stuff, but it's drying out pretty bad right now. Um, Still pretty good trailing though. But and we got some weather coming in this week a little bit. It'll kind of dampen things back up, and then dry the dirt out good again to be good dirt. But it's this last week. It's gotten pretty darn dry. It makes it tough.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few guys down here in southern Arizona that are just saying it's hard right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
easy to find a track because everything's just dry and the dirt's easy to see,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's tough trailing. You can see a track that looks nice and shiny and go to trailing it, and it you hit the wrong wash and you're done.
Yeah. Exactly. It'll do it. Yeah.
So for sure. So
Mm.
how many dogs are you hunting right now?
Well, I got 22 dogs right now, and I'll take. It just kind of depends on what I got going on. But I usually take 6 or 8 finished dogs and 3 or 4 pups, up and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, started dogs and stuff like that.
No, no, I
But
get that.
I'll hunt between 7 and 14 dogs at a time. So
How many days a week are you hunting right now?
every day that I can, pretty much. So several
Living the
days.
dream, huh?
Yeah, I'm hunting a lot. So it's good though. But that's what it takes to make them dogs. I mean, especially in the dirt dogs and stuff. You got to catch lions and you got to hunt a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
they got to get out there and get them young dogs exposed and you just got to get them behind a lot of game for them to.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that kind of goes with any dog as far as hounds. You know, the more time you can pour into them, the better a chance they have of making a
Right.
better dog for
Yeah.
sure.
Exactly. Yeah, and some of mine, and I think some of the reasons why mine start so slow too, and which I don't mind it, but a lot of guys will start on coons or start on this or that, or have some trainers for this and that for
Hmm.
pups, and the only thing my dogs ever smell from the time they're born is lions. I mean, I
Yep.
don't do no other trainers or anything, and that makes them a little bit slower starters too. But and then and then I'm horseback. They're free casted since they're little bitty pups, and so I mean they stay real straight. You keep them straight. They're they're not trashy, but they start a little bit slower, but they make better dogs in the long run, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, they're just getting what they get while you're hunting. They're not getting drove around for 80 miles every weekend, finding the freshest snow track they can stuff their nose in.
Right.
You know, they're just getting whatever conditions come. So it's not, not the perfect storm of I'm going to find 4 fresh lions this weekend and dump that pup on every one. It's that pup's going to hunt 5 days this week, and we might have 2 or 3 trailable tracks and might catch one.
Right. Exactly.
No, I I understand that completely. So when you got, I'm going to go back just a little bit, but when you got back into these dogs, what made you go to a different line than what you had been hunting before you took your break?
Mm, just seeing what was out there, and there was some dogs that I really liked, and just worked my way into them
Yep.
pretty
No,
much. And
no, I understand that.
they're not they're not so different from what I had. They're a little different, but
Yeah. Little come from a few different people, a little bit different lines that way.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. When I first got into it, I ran a little bit the first dog I ever got come from some Jeff Allen lines up, southern Utah way, and then
Right.
I kind of did some here or there, bringing some dogs in until I finally found a line that I think truly worked for me. And ever since I found that, I've stayed with it. Every once in a while, I'll bring in this other dog that I'm like, oh, I want to try one just to try it, be excited. And
Yeah.
99% of the time, that one fizzles out, and I just go back to what I love.
Right. Oh yeah. 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 No, it's yeah. Once you find something like that, it's you get pretty settled in with it and you like it. But I mean, you got to get that outcross every now and then, though, just to
Yep.
keep from growing too many toes or something, But
Oh yeah, no, I get that, but you
but
get so far into it, you definitely make sure that outcross is something you want and
yeah,
coming from something very similar as far as style and nose, and
exactly. Right.
unless unless you're looking to bring in a certain trait, maybe like a little more tree or a little more, tight-footedness or things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So So when you're breeding your own dogs, are you just breeding good dog to good dog, or do you kind of have a method to your madness when you're doing some of these litters? Because everybody does it different.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of like you get just like that old cold nose ruby. I mean, you got her, and then just look at different traits. I mean, you got to kind of like put it together.
Hmm.
You got one dog that you like that does a certain thing, and this dog does a certain thing that you like. You just kind of build your dog, kind of.
Yep.
What I mean? So and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the pups they don't come out the way you thought they probably should have. And but sometimes they come out just right. So.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes an accidental crossing is one of the best things that can happen to you. Sometimes
Yep.
I had that happen this last year with them little red pups, boy. Um, and I'd gotten a dog out of Utah and for an outcross, and I just wasn't planning on crossing him yet. And I didn't know with Jewel, she wasn't showing she's in heat. And I was out there hunting, and they come up missing, and I go back and find them. They're hooked up. And I thought, well, shit. So I turn around and we had the litter of pups, and there's this other old lion hunter. I give him a couple of them, and I got one here, and but those pups are they're outstanding. I mean, I'm going to make
Mhm.
that cross again this spring, actually.
Okay.
So they're 2 months younger than my black and whites, and they've excelled. They're past what my black and whites are doing right now. They're
Hmm.
they're trailing. They're staying with the dogs. They're whipping. I mean, they're grinding the track. They're puppies. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that turned out stupid good somehow.
Mhm.
So,
Some accident that happened on the mountain, but I mean, I'm a true believer. I think some of the best crosses are probably made that way.
yeah, yeah. So it's something
You
that
know.
yeah, I wasn't planning on breeding them too, but
Yep.
I was going to breed him something else. But uh, but I'm glad it happened now. Now I know. Now this next litter, who knows? May be junk,
Yeah. You never know. You
but
know.
but I don't
And
see
I've
it wouldn't be the same as what I got right now. But we'll see. You just never know.
Yep. Yeah, and I've heard some guys say, that they think the first litter is always going to turn out the best, and after that, they can be good dogs, but they're never as good as the first litter. And I think I've seen that in some, but in others, I think it all just really depends on the dog. I don't think you could ever call that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's just, I've seen some guys that breed and do the same cross 5 times, and every litter has a freak superstar, and the rest are great dogs. And you'll have another cross that there's, you know, two good dogs and the rest are junk, and it's
Hmm.
just it's crazy the science. You think that this great male should be able to just throw great pups, and sometimes he just doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
Or the same way with the bitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's a dream to hunt, but her pups don't hunt worth of nothing. It just
Yeah. Yeah. You just never know. You
yep.
try it. Yeah. Exactly.
And there's some of them old timers that some of them just had brood bitches that had barely never even really been hunted.
Right.
They just liked the conformation, liked the dog, and they bred her to a good male and tried it, and it worked out. So you never know whether she would have hunted or not.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So no, I it's always that breeding's just a science that I think some people get figured out, but I think in the end, I don't know that we all really truly ever have it figured
Right.
out.
Yeah.
I think with horses it's a little easier, but
Yeah.
dogs when you get 10 of them that come out, they can be so different. I mean,
Oh
some
yeah.
of some of these litters, even though both the parents are red tick dirt dogs, they'll come out every color of the damn rainbow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Don't know what they are. Yeah. I mean, way down the lines, they got stuff in them that are there's no telling
yep.
what in them. So
No, I get that for sure.
right.
Um so as you're out hunting and trailing and stuff like that, like with these dogs, I mean, at least from my experience with hunting on the dirt, you're staying with them as much as you can to help them with the loses, help them learn.
Hmm.
Did you hunt that way before you got out of it, or is this a whole different way?
Yeah. No, I hunted in the dirt and the snow both back then.
Did you?
And in Nevada, we hunted a lot of the snow.
Yeah.
We'd go up there for the snow, hunt over there, and just run clients. Just
Yep.
every 5 days, we'd bring somebody in and just slam lions all winter. And then the rest of the time here in New Mexico and a little bit in Arizona, hunt the dirt.
Yep.
But yeah, anymore, yeah, just the dirt hunting is just so much funner. I mean,
Oh,
you just go, you make dogs, you raise a dog from a pup to an adult, and see her from sucking on a tit to face barking a big old tom and a bluff. It's just
yeah.
it's just it's all about the dogs to me.
Yep.
Anymore. It used to be back in the day, about the killing. Just go catch lions, run clients in one every 5 days, and just kill as many as you can. This and that, but anymore, I just rather just take my dogs out and hunt. Like I said,
Yep.
the only reason why I take clients anymore is to pay for some dog food.
So. Yeah. Pay for the bills a little bit and go from
right.
there. And I think, following the dogs, especially the way you do it on, horses or mules, you truly get to, you get to see more of the race than you do on some of these, bear or snow lion races where you cut them loose and you just can't keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the dirt, until they really get it moving and almost get to the point where it's jumped,
right.
you can stay with them. And then once it's jumped, they might start to outcook you a little bit till they make a lose or things like that.
Yeah. And then I've had some lions that is a last night track, especially some of them big old toms. You'll be hunting an area and something, and then you ride a ridge that you was on yesterday, and you cross it, and a big old tom cross, and you get to trailing him. And you'll start trailing him, and it's a good hot track. And about 5-6 hours later, it's still a good hot track, and you're still ain't closing the gap on him, and it's an all day affair. And what I learned on that is I do a little bit of collaring and stuff on some here on Kirtland Air Force Base on some lions and stuff. And I got one tom collared right now, and this tom, he'll get up, he'll stay in one little area for about a month. In one night, and he's done this for the last year and a half. In one night, he gets up and goes over 30 miles in one night.
Jeez.
And he'll camp out in this other area for about a month or two. And then he gets up and one night goes all the way back across that 30-something miles. Never.
That's crazy.
And he's a big mature tom, and he never goes up the mountain, and he never really comes out of the foothills. He stays in this. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But what that tells you too is sometimes you get on them big old toms like that crossed last night. Well, hell, they're probably 20 miles ahead of you.
Yeah.
But it's a good hot track. You trail it all day long because and like I said, this tom's been doing it for a year and a half or more. And 30 miles in a night, and then camp out in an area and get up, go right back.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah. So doing a lot of that collaring and being able to watch these lions and stuff, really, you can learn a lot.
Yeah, that's I mean, I thought I knew about lions and bears and stuff till I kind of got hunting with some different people. And once I started really hunting lions with them, I learned an incredible amount just because the different style, hunting more like your style, following them on the horses and mules, and just watching the way where they travel, the way they move, and things like that. Getting on a track that you're like, oh, it's shiny.
Yeah.
Last night's track, we're gonna trail this, and me being this snow hunter from up north, hopping on this mule and riding with these guys, and I'm like, why haven't we caught this thing?
Yeah, exactly.
8 hours later, and the track still looks the same, and we're still moving it the same, but we're not getting closer.
Yeah, never closing the gap, right?
No, there's just some you can't. You just end up on that wrong end of that track, and you'll get a heck of an education for some young dogs and yourself.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. That's for
so,
sure.
So you used to run bears. What changed your mind about bears?
They're just a pain in the ass. I mean, there's not a real big challenge in catching them to start with. I mean, you rig them, you turn your dogs out, you catch them, some bitches, sometimes you end up in a hellhole and you got to skin that big greasy son of a gun and pack him out for this guy, and it's I don't know. It's just not fun
Yeah.
to me. I mean,
No, I get it.
a lot of guys love it. I got a lot of friends that hunt bears, and they love it and this and that, and then you get behind a 140-pound bear, and you go pick your dogs up in the next county tomorrow.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just not fun
Yeah.
for me.
I've been there. No, I truly enjoy the lions myself. My kids, they love the bears.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
it's quick, it's fast action, and they know if it's a nasty, shitty walk, Dad's going to get the dog.
Right. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but my true love is hunting lions in the dirt, especially off of mules. Like if I had my choice of any way to do it, that would be the way to do it for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. 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 No, I enjoy it. I mean, it's what all do till I die. So
Yep. No, I get it. I know a couple houndsmen that have done it till they died, and some that did it till their body just wouldn't let them do it no more, and
right.
now they just like to be told the stories.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Right.
so speaking of stories, I mean we're getting a little close here. What's like a favorite dog? I mean, over all the years that you've had, that just kind of stood out, that like the rest of them always get compared to. They're like, this is a great dog, but it just wasn't quite that dog.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a tough question. Because I mean, I got all my dogs stand out to me
hmm
in my head. I mean, I really can't. Um, they all do great things in their own ways. I mean, there's some that are better at some things than others, and I mean, just to like pick one dog and say this dog was greater than any of these other dogs, for me is kind of
hmm
hard to say really. Yeah, all my dogs do to me
Yeah.
do something great that
No.
that trying to compare who's a better
Yeah.
dog is, yeah, I don't know. I really don't got an answer for you on that.
No. I get it.
So
I
yeah, my
I
dog.
understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. Is there a hunt over the years that just kind of stands out, that was just like, oh damn, that was a great day. Just some great dog work. Something that was just a little unique.
Yeah, I got one. So, and this was just probably 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So something like that. And that this kid Josh that I've helped out along the way here, and he called me. He was turkey hunting, and he found a kill. And so I said, well, we'll go in there tomorrow. Bring some dogs to go in there tomorrow, see if we can catch that lion. And it was on the east side of the mountains, and which is per, pretty easy country to get around in. And on this, the west side's a nightmare. I mean,
Yep.
and I know we ended up on the west side. I never thought we would have with this lion, but we did. But so we get into that kill, and the dog's kind of bouncing around. They take a track one way and come back, track another way, come back. They're trying to figure it out, and finally Flo, this little black and tan, she struck way up high, and it was good. I mean, everybody went to her, and they started trailing. And we're going, and we're getting closer to the top of the mountain, closer to the top. And this is pretty tall mountain. And I was telling Josh, I hope we don't top over this son of a bitch, because they're getting in trouble. I had 14 dogs, and they topped over, and god dang it, I mean, it took everything had to get to the top. And then we hear them way down the other side, and down this other side there's a bunch of waterfalls and big old bluffs, and I mean like 150, 200-foot drops and stuff. I mean, nasty stuff. We got 14 dogs on a big tom. I thought, man, we're gonna have some dead dogs here pretty quick. And we finally get to where we can hear them, and they're on this one fall, and we can't see them. We can hear them. They're raising hell. And I told Josh, we got to get over there. So we hustled up, and it took us a long time to get over there. It's a long ways, and we finally get coming around this one bluff up on top, and can finally see this lion. He's out on a point, and he's a big big lion. And behind him is probably 250-foot drop. And we hear dogs and still can't see dogs. We see him out there on the point. We roll around there and we get to where we can see the dogs, and everybody's just on the edge of this deal. And it's like, by the time we got there, I don't know how we didn't have dead dogs. And most of the time, it's not the lions knocking the dogs off. It's the dogs knocking each other off is what the problem is on those bluffs. And they're raising nine kinds of hell at this big old Tom. And we start grabbing dogs, and I had Josh behind me. I'd hand him dogs. I said, time to rocks, time to anything. We got to get the sucker cleaned up. And this big old Tom's just sitting there watching us, and we're close to him. I mean, but I can't shoot him. If we shoot him, dogs get to follow him off the bluff.
Yep.
So we're pulling dogs back, and we got most of the dogs tied back, and that son bitch, he finally felt comfortable enough to leave. He got up and he walked probably 10 feet from me along the edge of that bluff right there, and dogs were, I'm sure you've seen them big old boar bears with them dogs are just baying. So I got 3 dogs right up against him, and he's walking looking at me, like right there. And I got my 44 mag right there. If I'd have shot him, he'd have fell off the bluffs and dogs would have jumped, I guarantee you. So he walked right on by me with them dogs, just like a bear. And he got over there, and I grabbed one dog when he passed, and he just kept walking them other dogs, and he slipped off the edge, and I grabbed the other 2 dogs, and he went down this side of this little deal, which was, I don't know how that son of a bitch even got off there. And we got everybody gathered up, and we let him walk. But that was a tense deal there, man. And why no dogs got killed, I don't know. Good Lord.
Yeah.
With them that day, because, we had a lot of dogs on the edge of that deal.
Yeah, that's crazy. People don't realize that, like, one thing you said in there is, it usually, not all the time, it's not the lions that pull them dogs off. It's dogs knocking each other off. And that's what's crazy when you get on them edges, is a lot of people don't realize that, especially when you got, 6, 7, 8, 10 dogs right there. Mm-hmm. It's easy. They're all trying to get as close to that lion and stay safe, but get in its face and bark, and they're pushing each other around. People don't realize that that's a lot of what happens, or they slip or things like that.
But yeah, and I'd have never turned that many dogs out if we would have been on that side of the mountain. But I never thought on that big full-bellied sucker, I didn't think he'd make top of the mountain, but he did. But
yeah, that's crazy. There's always some sort. Everybody's always got a story that it's just like, man, that's nuts.
yeah, it was.
I've had lions. We had one where we caught this lion in a tree, and it bailed and went down, run past our snowmobiles, and the dogs. It bailed before we could even catch dogs, so dogs were with it, and they ended up catching it on the ground in this dry creek bed that's had like 2 feet of snow in it.
Oh wow! Yeah,
and 6 or 7 dogs and 1 lion, that goes sideways real fast. So I was in there quick as I could, just pulling dogs, and I got little 2-foot nothing legs, so I was up to my waist in snow throwing these dogs, and that lion just reached out and hooked into my boot.
Oh shit!
It just, it was tired enough that it just laid there. Yeah. But it had me if it wanted me. And so I just kept pulling dogs, just watching it. And finally, my buddy that's a little bit bigger than me come in and grabbed me and started playing and played tug of war, and we won. But
good thing.
But it happens. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, sure does.
Well, shit, Shawn, I've enjoyed this, talking about hunting dogs. You can't go wrong doing that on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
I guess the only way it'd be better is if we're on muleback talking about it while we were doing it.
Right. There you go.
Yes, sir. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Hound Talk podcast with the Cold Strike crew. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, give us a review. It means a lot to us. Thank you for your support. Now go load them dogs and take the kid hunting.